everybody. Awesome. First off, before I keep talking, let me know if you can hear me. I know there's like a 10-second delay actually on the stream. I don't know if I can reduce that on YouTube somehow. But do let me know, please, in the comments if you can hear me right now, because I'm not sure if my mic works properly. Can you hear me? Yes? No? Let's see. Let me type it. Can you hear me? Awesome. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining the stream. This is really exciting. I thought I'm going to go back to producing my regular YouTube content. Mainly, I want to focus on actually more technical tutorials and also creating tutorials in collaboration with other people. There's a little bit of a story behind that, and I might tell you in a second. But ultimately, I took last month kind of a break because for me, it's still difficult to fit YouTube with anything, like everything around it, everything else. So if there are lots of conferences, I get overwhelmed with everything and I just stop. So I want to integrate YouTube more and creating content and tutorials more into my day-to-day life in a better way. So I'm retrying that. And this is kind of a kickoff. Also, throughout that month, the past month, I reached 10,000 subscribers, which is probably, if you're in the chat, it's you part of that, which is amazing. Just quick comment. If you want to engage in the chat, if you want to comment anything, then please subscribe, any duration of subscribing. But you have to subscribe to my channel to engage in the chat. And I see there's lots of people joining. Thank you so much for all the nice wishes. That's really exciting. Thank you so much. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I don't know if it's better, like mispronouncing your name or not pronouncing your name. But I'm trying to show all of your comments. Thank you so much. Maybe you can come eventually on the stream and tell me your name. There are some YouTubers who actually invite different people onto their live streams and then have like 10 minutes conversations with each, which might be a really interesting thing to do as well. What else? Oh, you can all hear me. This is the delay that's happening. Oh, thank you, Engin. Hello, everybody. Okay, so here's the plan for this stream. First off, I want to thank everybody for supporting me. I'm trying to thank you. I'm really awkward with thanking people, but I'm really trying. So thank you so much for supporting my content. It really does mean a lot that even when I don't produce any content, people are still like looking at my channel, which is just incredible. So I actually went through my previous YouTube videos, and I can just maybe share my screen. So these are like all my previous videos, right, that I created since the end of 2020. That's when I got started with my first videos at the end of 2022. So 2020. Anyway, so I went through them and I picked the 3 videos that I find personally, well, that kind of marked milestones throughout my YouTube career, but that I'm actually very embarrassed about. So if there is another video that you would like to see, and me commenting on. So I'm going to show you the video and I'm going to comment on the live. I thought that might be a fun thing to do. So that's what we're going to do in a second. But ultimately, if you want to see other videos, like right now, I might pick another 1 or 2, since these are really short videos that I've picked. Then comment them, send me the link in the chat, or like send me the name of the video, send me the title of the video. And then we could maybe take a look at that. But yeah, I selected kind of videos that are not really tutorials, so we're going to see in a second. But ultimately, going back to the type of content that I want to create, I'm looking at all the comments. Yeah, I want to create more technical, thorough tutorials and also longer series, like an hour of Kubernetes introduction or hour-long Kubernetes storage deep dive and things like that. But also very specific, more technical videos, like how to debug certain components within your cluster, certain workloads. And for that, so basically what happened was during KubeCon, so I was at KubeCon, and it was amazing to see so many people, by the way. Like if you saw me there, hi, thank you so much for saying hi, because I'm actually very, very shy in person. Anyway, so at KubeCon, there were maybe just like 2 people who came up to me and comment on my YouTube channel, which I'm thankful for because I get very shy and embarrassed about it as well. But there was this one person who came up to me in the evening and was like, Anais, I really like your YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, you're watching my YouTube channel? And he was like, no, I'm not. Oh, okay. Okay, so what do you like about it? He's like, well, you're doing a very great job of like showing different tutorials, like educating people about how to use Kubernetes, how to use different tools, different cloud native tools, and so on. So he went on about that a bit of like the things that he likes. And then he was telling me, well, but they are not technical enough. So I told him that I would love to create more technical videos, but I kind of shy away from it because I don't want to show you things that I can't back up in a way. So that's something that's really important to me, that I can back up with my experience, with my short experience, that I can back up what I'm showing you. And I'm maybe very modest about that right now, but ultimately, I want to show you things in tutorials, such as GitOps tutorials or the tutorials that I now do on the Aqua Security open source tools. I want to show you something that I can back up with arguments, with reasoning, right, with comparison. And that obviously takes more time. That takes more time in terms of having experience with those tools. That takes more time in terms of talking to people who have more experience. That takes more time in terms of validating what you're writing. And that's why I create less of technical tutorials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to partner with different people in the space. And I already reached out to some of them, and they're going to help me to create the content, like to create the technical content on my channel. And many of it will probably happen in my free time as well. But ultimately, they will help me create the technical content, and then I will create the video of that. But they will provide kind of more of the backup, let's say, when I say certain things in my blog posts and on the videos, right? So that's really important to me. And I just wanted to point it out that this is something that I want to focus on more now. So now that we have that out of the way, what I'm planning to focus on, let's go back to the chat before we start with the first super embarrassing video. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the congratulations. You spelled my name correctly, Anais. Anais. It's usually though, I'm sorry. So it's usually spelled with 2 dots above the I. So on the I, you have like 2 dots next to each other. The thing is that I don't even know how to write that on most keyboards, especially non-German keyboards. So I just leave out the 2 dots on the I. There's also a perfume that's called Anais, and I used to tell people that my aunt made a perfume and named it after me. It didn't happen. I have nothing to do with the perfume. But yeah, fun story. My name. Shy. Yeah, the thing is, I know you kind of, but when new people talk to me, or like you came up to talk to me, right? Like I usually don't talk, like I don't do that as I don't know. I get really awkward. Anyway, did you meet? Yes, I met Kunal. Kunal is an awesome human being. He has a great personality, and I really respect his work. Yeah, if you meet him in person, say hi. Say hi from me. What do you do at Aqua Security? I do a lot of different things. I help with the documentation. I help with writing integrations. So, for example, I wrote a microcates security add-on for one of our open source tools. I do live videos. I do tutorials. I write blog content. All those fun little things that you do as a developer advocate. So it's really diverse, but I'm ultimately within the open source engineering team. So while I'm not contributing a lot most of the time to the source code of the open source tools, I help them to kind of get their message across and share their work, because ultimately they do the work. I'm just there to amplify what's happening. Oh yeah, 10,000, no, 100,000, no, yeah, 100,000, sorry, I'm bad with numbers in English. 100,000 next, that's exciting. Thank you for joining, Eddie. Yeah, it has been nearly like 1.5 years until I reached 10,000, but to be honest, like I wasn't really consistent, and I really appreciate that people still like look at my content, even if I don't do anything. It's really reassuring. It's really encouraging of like, you want to see more content, right? When is my next in-person event? It's going to be in London. I told you about it. I will send the links across. Here we go. Congratulations for 10K. Your tutorials have helped me land an open source Kubernetes job. They did. Oh, that's the first time that somebody told me that. That makes me so happy right now. That is really exciting. Congratulations to you for landing that job. That's really amazing. Awesome. That's really great. If there's anything that would have helped you more, then please do let me know. It might also be really interesting for other people if we have a live stream and I can ask you some questions about how that happened. Awesome. Okay, let's watch the first video. I don't know how that will go. It was just an idea. Maybe it's gonna go terrible. So the first video is from right when I got started. And I got my first DevOps job in the space. I was working for CodeFresh as a junior developer advocate. I had some experience being a developer advocate before at other companies, but not in the cloud native space. So this is the video where I was like, well, if my coworkers can do YouTube, then I must be able to do it as well. So I just basically went ahead and I said, okay, I'm just going to make everything public, everything that I'm learning about. So this is how this video came about. Let me know if you can hear it. Here's the plan. I've decided to make all of the research, all of the blog posts that I'm reading, everything that I come across, all the events and courses and everything in the DevOps space, public. It's all going to be on a public Notion page that people can check out and have a look at. And in addition, I'm going to create a newsletter with the curated content of every week. For those of you who see my face for the first time, can you hear it? I looked very different back then. I don't know if you can hear it. There's this terrible delay, so I will just have to fill those gaps with like talking. This is one of the very first videos. Maybe if you can just post in the chat if you can hear the video itself playing. Yes, awesome. Okay, let's keep watching. My name is Anais. I've been working in the blockchain space actually for the past 3 years, and I'm getting started in DevOps. And as you can imagine, I have lots and lots and lots to learn about it. So why did I decide to make all of that learning public? Well, so if you read blog posts, a really good blog post or a book, it's not just that somebody decided once in the morning, hey, I'm gonna wake up and write a book about something, right? It's that somebody read over years some really amazing content and then was like, hey, I've gathered a lot of knowledge, I build upon that knowledge, my own knowledge, and I want to share that knowledge now, right? So it's like this knowledge pyramid kind of, and different pyramids build on each other. So you have, at some point, you have something really cool when an industry matures. Anyway, so I didn't do that. I didn't share my knowledge or like what I was reading about when I got started in the blockchain space. So all of the research summaries and reports and analysis that I wrote for my first company, they're kind of somewhere hanging out in some Google Docs file, and nobody's probably ever going to see them, which is a pity. So when I worked as developer advocate for my previous company, before I changed industry, people would come to me and be like, Anais, I want to understand your platform. I want to. So I actually created this summary of different research papers in the blockchain space. Throughout like a year of reading different papers, that's what I came up with. So this is Hangout DevOps Diary. That name might change. I don't know. So this was actually, I hope you can hear me. This is actually the first version of my blog, right? So DevOps Diary, where I was just this was the first version of it. And this is kind of how it started. Now this video is not as interesting as I hoped it would be. It's just me kind of rumbling about things and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. But ultimately it became this blog. And I'm kind of blinded by the light right now. So it became this blog, right? Which is now my newsletter. I hope I have good internet, enough internet. I might have to open the door to get more internet. Is that a thing? Open the door to get internet? Anyway, I think so. It worked. Okay, anyway, I don't know how scientific it is, but it worked. So this became my newsletter, and also DevOps Diary, well, it's still this Notion page that I more or less still maintain. That is also kind of evolving in different directions. So this was the first video. Yeah. I don't know. I just sat down and got started. And I think the nice thing about this video, it really shows you don't, like, I was recording this over, is it called Loom? How is it called? It's like the software where you can just in browser record, right? So that's how I used it. I was just literally recording through their platform and then downloading the videos because I had like a webcam. I didn't have my camera set up or anything, or this mic, for instance. So I just went ahead and started recording it. And I think that's really important. Just go ahead and do it. Don't wait for anything to happen. Yeah. Now, next video. What is this? Oh, this is me introducing 100 days of Kubernetes. What I'm going to do. It has now 10,000 views. Wow. So, I'm going to get started with 100 days of Kubernetes. And there's my first intro. For those who do not know me, welcome. Nice to meet you. My name is Anais. I've worked for the... This is like one of the most awkward moments of, the things that you do in videos where you're like, why did I do that? But it's cute, right? It's cute. Let's continue. 3 years in the blockchain space and just got started in DevOps. I think there's one thing that I stopped doing a lot. At the beginning, I wanted to emphasize that I had experience already in different areas, in different industries, before I joined the cloud native space. So there was definitely some, especially soft skills, like technical writing. Well, technical writing isn't really a soft skill, but writing, communication, lots of things that I could take over into the cloud native space. And I tried to really emphasize that at the beginning, which I'm not doing as much anymore, also because I'm kind of uncomfortable with the fact that I worked for a long time in the crypto blockchain space. But that's a different story, I guess. 2 months ago. So there's so much for me to learn that I don't even know where to start. However, one thing I do know, I have to learn a lot about Kubernetes. And the other thing is that, and I keep stopping now, if you have any comments, any thoughts on these, but the other theme is that I was very overwhelmed, especially getting started, and I'm still very overwhelmed. Like right now, I'm super overwhelmed learning about Linux fundamentals, like in details, because so I'm about to finish my computer science degree, and in your computer science degree you have, or in many boot camps as well, you have Linux fundamentals, but they're not necessarily what you will need to know when you're actually working with Linux, how should I call it? When you're working with, for example, with eBPF program systems, or when you really want to understand the details of Kubernetes, then what you learn in your degree is not going to be sufficient. And so at that time, I was very overwhelmed learning about even containers. So when I got started, when I was interviewing for the first job at CodeFresh, I was literally Googling, what is a container? I had no idea what a container was. In like previous internships, my very first internships, I used virtual machines, but I didn't use containers. I'm trying to like get around the sun. But then you can't see me, I think. So I just have to be awkwardly here. But yeah. Where did you get the LED lights from? I can send you the link. I still have them in a box somewhere, I think. I can send you mine. They're in Germany, actually. So if you want them, they're yours, Onion. Just send me your address and I can pack them up for you, because I don't think I will use them anymore. You can program them to do different things. So you have like pre-configured back screens things, and then you can also configure them. Like you can paint your own. Like I would, for example, display the Kubernetes logo really poorly painted with pixels, but you can do that. So if you want them, let me know. You're the winner of this really spontaneous giveaway. Plus, okay, that was it. That was your moment. Oh, that's really nice. Let me know, really, like, again, this channel is really like based on what I hear people talk about, what I hear people want to see. So if there's a tutorial, something that you would like to see on this channel, something that you would like to have explained in more detail, then please do let me know as well. I'm enjoying the sun right now. It's like I thought about changing the live stream time so I can go outside after work and enjoy the sun, but now I get both at the same time. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, okay, what else? Did I miss something? I think I got it all. Okay, awesome. Yeah, let's see what happens next. To use containers properly. I've taken some time to think about what I want this channel to look like, what kind of resources I would like to share with you, and who I want to engage with my videos. So I've decided I want to shift more in the direction of DevOps-related resources, specifically starting with Kubernetes. It's like the worst thing. Like you get started, like at the time, I hardly knew what DevOps actually meant. Okay, like think about that, and then I'm getting started with Kubernetes. Like that just doesn't make much sense. But it's just my thought. Like if I would change it, I would definitely learn more about other things first before learning about Kubernetes. It's like the most. Where do you want to get started? Let's get started with Kubernetes, and then learn everything you should know to understand Kubernetes. Anyway. So as a challenge for myself to learn more about Kubernetes and tools related, I'm going to start 100 days of Kubernetes. Now you might be thinking, nice, is there that much to learn about Kubernetes? So I didn't really officially finish the 100 days. And the first days I posted everything here on this page. This is live, like you can find this, I can post this. So these were like my very first notes that I took, right? And first of all, I didn't know where to get started. I didn't know how to get started. And then I did 44 days, but then I continued afterwards. Let's remove this. And then I didn't know, like, from there. Well, no, where was I? So then I just kept posting like on my blog post directly instead of putting it here. So that's why you will see just 44 days. But actually, like, I mean, I'm still continuing. And I think everybody who's been working with Kubernetes from day one probably has a similar experience of this is actually something that you will never stop learning about. Like this is just keeps on going forever and ever and ever. I don't mean to make this sound sad, but it's actually very exciting because there's always something else you can learn. Yes, there is. There's also this really amazing community called 100 Days of Cloud, which focus on cloud native applications. They are great. They are linked below, so check them out. And maybe that's the second challenge I'm going to do. However, I want to start with Kubernetes, and once I have the skills and fundamentals in place, I might expand into different areas, and then I'm going to do 100 Days of Cloud. Oh, I never took the exam. Oh, this is no, this is embarrassing. I was saying at the beginning, I'm going to take the exam. I never took the exam. I could give you so many reasons of why I didn't take the exam. Now I don't know why I should take it or why I should not take it. I think I'm not taking it now because I don't want like an exam to tell me that you are not there yet. You don't get the exam, like the certificate. So I think that's why I'm not taking the exam now. But yeah, I ultimately never took it. Let's skip this. Okay, I'm talking more about the exam. Oh God. Now I'm talking about the course for the exam that I also didn't finish. Then I talk about the other. Okay, we're done with this video now. This was fun. This is actually, I think this is one of the nicer videos of like 100 Days of Kubernetes. When I released the blog. Let's see if it works. Yeah. So this is basically all of the notes that you see here. I put them into this open source book kind of. And you can find it there. So this is the open source book. I hope I have enough internet and you can hear me. But yeah, so I put everything into this book, and I also think of like redoing it in different ways and like changing it around. It's just so much effort that I don't have time for until now, hopefully. Once I finish my degree, which is after the summer, I should have more time to do these things in my free time. Since this is like obviously nothing that I directly get, like this is not directly part of my job, this is like indirectly part of my job, right? So some things I can justify to do during my work hours, other things they're just extra in a way. like community work. A lot of community work is extra. So I really appreciate everybody out there in this community who put so much effort into it, right? Especially like if you're an engineer. Lots of engineers, they don't have as part of their workday creating tutorials and creating presentations, which is like such an essential, valuable part, but it's not ultimately for many people, it's not part of their day-to-day, right? And this is the last video. I don't know how interesting this actually is to do. I thought it's gonna be more fun. Anyway. Hello there. There's me with red hair, partially red hair. I colored it myself, which was terrible. But...
And welcome to 100 Days of Kubernetes. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to my channel. My name is Anais, and this is 100 Days of Kubernetes, a challenge where we aim to learn something new related to Kubernetes across 100 days, and me sharing with you here, right, on my YouTube channel. Now, if you've been following my journey throughout the past months, on Twitter or YouTube, you might have come across some of the videos, some of the content I created, and some of the tutorials and other resources that I relied on for my own learning journey. Additionally, I shared all of my notes publicly on a public Notion page. Now, the amazing thing is, a lot of new community members got involved and started their own Kubernetes learning journey. Amazing! Makes me so excited.
That clap makes me cringe every time. Like, why would I do that? But no, I really want to, like, this is me being awkward, appreciating people, you know?
However, a lot of you relied on my notes. They're not that pretty. They're not that accurate. There's a lot to improve on. And that's what I need your help for. And that's why we've decided to make it all public, like really public, at 100daysofkubernetes.io. It's a public documentation, public book of sorts. You can fork it, you can download it, and you can contribute.
Please do fork it. Like, this is something I want to emphasize. Things are there to be forked and redone and done differently, right? So you could like fork this and like do your own thing or add your own notes to it or anything else, anything you want to do with it, right? Like, this is really public resource in a way out there. And I think that's the case of a lot of open source repositories. Yeah.
To it on a public GitHub repository. Now, what is 100 Days of Kubernetes in the first place? It's really a challenge. Whether you're just getting started in the space, you're just getting started with Kubernetes, cloud-native technologies, and all of that sort of thing. Or you've been running Kubernetes in production for several years. We rely on your input. It's really about you sharing your entire learning journey with the community. Because if Rishabh Kumar wouldn't have...
This was like the nicest thing. Rishabh was like, so... He has been really, really amazing since I got started in this space. He has been like one of the first people I found on Twitter, actually. And at some point, we kind of started talking. And he's contributing to our Discord community a lot, actually, still, which I'm really thankful for because sometimes I just forget about it. Anyway, but I asked him basically, like, he gave me the idea of like, of 100 days of Kubernetes because he was doing 100 days of cloud. Where is he? He was somewhere here.
Journey across 100 days of cloud. On his Twitter, I wouldn't have gotten the idea.
He's here. Anyway, you just saw him. So the thing is, and then I asked him if he can wait for the video or something. It was really nice that he did that.
I wouldn't have shared his learning journey across 100 days of cloud. On his Twitter, I wouldn't have gotten the idea for 100 days of Kubernetes. Additionally, Rishabh created this amazing GitHub repository that you can fork right now to create your own Kubernetes learning journey. Now, I really hope to see your contributions there. You can also get involved in the conversation right now, ask questions, share your resources at community.100daysofkubernetes.
This is actually how you can join the Discord. So if you're curious and you want to like collaborate with other people or so on, like this is really supposed to be community driven, like kind of a place where like people with common interests in DevOps and cloud can just like share things, ask questions to each other, right? It's not for us to be moderators and like moderators in a way of responding questions and answering questions. But yeah, hopefully at some point also as a place like where people can collaborate and be like, hey, I'm working on this, or like I started this side project, does somebody want to contribute to it, right? So those are kind of the videos that I wanted to share. Yeah, there are, I mean, obviously a lot of other videos that have been really like exciting. By the way, this is my chair like creaking when I move. I just feel like I have to mention that. Anyway, and then there are obviously some other videos where I'm like, oh, what was I doing? So for example, in this video, I put tattoos on my arms. So here's Warcode's logo. Here's like just the Go logo, and then what else did I put on?
That one, no.
Oh god, this is like another cringe moment. There's so many cringe moments in here. Okay, we're done with this now. But can you see me? I feel like this is really like... Let me just... Oh god, you're gonna see this face for a second while I close the blinds. Oh god, okay. Okay, so now you can see me again. I don't know if that helps a lot, but yeah, so this has been that. Really, it has been like, I mean, just think about the amount of work that goes into every single YouTube video. Like when people ask me, how long do you take for a YouTube video? Well, it varies between sometimes just like 2 hours up to a week of work that goes into those videos, depending on how extensive is the tutorial, how much do I struggle creating the tutorial. But obviously also that struggling of setting up those different tutorials and demo environments and use cases, that's also a learning journey for me, right? But why is Anais torturing herself with direct sunlight? Yeah, it's nice to have the sun like directly hitting you, right? But just you can't see me if that happens. Yeah, so those videos take a lot of time to make, and it's just great to see like everything that I've done since then. And also, I mean, I only show this kind of this window, right, of my life. Like this is the only thing I share online, and then maybe occasionally some photos on Twitter, but I don't share that much publicly about my life and myself and everything around me. But still, there's a lot that you can see of like the differences of like how my background evolves, how I'm trying out different lighting, right? For example, I mean, in this video, right, just try out different lighting and stuff. And yeah, I'm actually seeing that you can see my YouTube history. So I watch a lot of news on YouTube. Anyway, so what else? There are some people in it. I wanted to comment on that. I still remember when I watched this video of yours. Now I'm working in GS. I don't know what that means. GSOC. I think I should know that. For CNCF, your content motivated me at the very beginning of my journey. Just want to say thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you so much. Nikhil. Do I pronounce your name right? Nikhil Sharma. Thank you so much for letting me know. This really does mean a lot. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's just red as a color in your hair is tough to maintain and tough to get out. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it was a nice experience. Logging your journey in video format is awesome. You look at your past self and cringe. Yeah. I think it's more funny when other people watch it. Not necessarily if you watch it, like, or like if you watch things for the first time, like I already know what's gonna happen, right? If I would watch these videos for the first time, I would probably go, oh, right? Like, let's say if I would see myself for the first time doing these videos, I would be like, oh, what was I thinking? Hello there. Thank you for joining. Oh, we already shot that. Okay, I think I got all your comments. What else? Are there any questions? Anything I can answer? I don't know. This is really what I want to do. I just wanted to say thank you to all my amazing subscribers, everybody who's sharing my content, who's like cheering their, for watching my content. It's really support that, right? Like every single of you, I really appreciate that. Also comments. I highly encourage you. If you don't want to share like comments, feedback publicly on my videos, if you have any questions or suggestions for future tutorials, please let me know, because ultimately that's what makes the content better. Like if you have a question, then probably other people have a question about Kubernetes or similar one as well, right? That I could be answering. So I would really appreciate if, you share those thoughts and suggestions with me. What else? This is a really quiet chat today. What's going on? I think it's time, right? It's very late for a lot of people, or very early. No, probably more late. It's an awkward time to do a live stream. Also, let me know what kind of times you prefer for a live stream. Am I planning? So here's a question. Am I planning? Oh, thank you. It's not what I want to show, but thank you. Oh, now the questions come in thoughts. Anyway, so are you planning on creating any particular series to start on YouTube? So I want to do a series on building containers and how containers actually work. Because, and not just like a series like, here's how you build a container, here's your Docker file, right? Like that's going to be a part of it, right? Because obviously it's important, but I was, here's a little story. So last week, I spent an entire day learning how to give the talk of somebody else, how to give the talk of a coworker, Rory McCoon. So he made this talk for OWASP App Security EU conference, and he wasn't able to give it. So he asked me, hey, Anais, can you jump in for me? And I was thinking, 15-minute talk, 20-minute talk, it's all done. I just have to give it. Of course I can do that, right? Of course, no problem. I can do it. I had like 2 weeks to prepare. So the first week leading up to that was a bit hectic, so I didn't get to look at the content. So a week before I started looking at the content, I was like, this is more than I expected. So I started like to kind of convert the presentation a bit, modify it, and then I realized, it's supposed to be 1 hour long. I'm supposed to give a 1 hour talk about highly technical, highly technical for my taste, technical, security focused things within your container images. Like it was basically about a wander through container security, and those were really technical things. So I was like, I can't give those demos. I'm just going to show his recordings of the demos. And throughout me preparing for this presentation, I realized, wow, there's so much I don't know about the inner workings of containers that you just never think about, or you never have to think about, but they're really important to know if you really want to understand it. Anyway, so this is basically long to say that there's a lot that most of the tutorials only scratch the surface, right? And then you hear from somebody who knows so much about container security, and you're like, can I swear here? It's like, damn, no. Anyway, you know which word I want to say. Anyway, so I thought it would be cool to make like a deep dive on containers, container security, right? Video glitch. Can you hear me again? Oh, there was a glitch. Which part was a glitch? Thank you. Thank you, Kawa, for joining. Good luck for your future. Good luck to you for your future. Thank you. Can you see me still? Again? Hi. I don't know if you can see me. Oh God. I might have to put a booster upstairs for the video for streaming. Maybe that's too much for my poor internet connection. Kubernetes sidecars. I can do that. Sidecars in ephemeral. I never know how to pronounce the word. Ephemeral containers. So basically, sidecars are kind of containers that are meant to support another container, right? At least that's my understanding of it. And then ephemeral containers are basically containers that are supposed to live very shortly. For example, in the same part of another container for troubleshooting purposes or similar. So I'm planning to do, videos on that would be interesting, I think. That's a nice quote. Every field is like an ocean. As much as you go deep into it, you realize how many possibilities it has. I was actually listening to this podcast about an experiment. I think it was in the 1960s. And they basically thought, okay, we don't actually know what's inside the Earth. So what they did is they went ahead, they got funding for a mission to go to one of the deepest parts of the ocean and drill 100 meters into the ground there. So the thing is, it involves obviously several steps. They had to get there with the ship, then they had to lower the driller to that part, and then they had to dig 100 meters into that part of the ocean, into the rock or whatever they found there, right? And they did it as kind of an experiment, as a proof of concept of like, we can dig at the deepest part of the ocean and find interesting things of like, how did our Earth used to look like, and things like that. Because ultimately, on land, you have a lot of things going on. You have people wandering around, you have things moving, you have earthquakes. But at the ocean, you can find a lot better samples. And that's like another, I don't know, it's kind of a metaphor of like, you can find a lot of things if you drill deep enough. Anyway, container security from Liz Rice has a deeper knowledge about how really work the containers. Yes, I started reading it actually a while ago, and then I kind of stopped reading it because university assignments, but it is a really good book. Liz has lots and lots of good books. Yeah, they're really good books. So many books I have to read. I have like this. So the thing is, as part of my university, I have access to O'Reilly Media. And I think if you can ask your employer for anything to buy you, ask for O'Reilly Media subscription. It's not cheap. It's actually very expensive for a year of subscription, but I think it's so worth it. Even if you can like maybe share a subscription, but don't tell them that I told you. But yeah, you basically have access to all kinds of textbooks, like everything you can think of, all kinds of textbooks out there, which is amazing. But it's a great suggestion. What else? I'm getting hungry. What time is it where you are? Why did I decide to do a live stream at dinner time? Anyway, but it's actually nice because then it's like after work, and then yeah. What else? If there are no questions, I think I'm going to end the live stream here. I mean, it was really like a poor way of saying thank you. Oh, and I want to show you this. I didn't. Oh, look, this is like the little thing that you saw maybe on Twitter that everybody got obsessed about. It's a baby nightlight, and people somehow got really obsessed about it. Can you see it? Focus. Here now you can see it. Oh, which way do I twist it? It's a baby nightlight, and it's really like it can also change colors, which I didn't show on Twitter. But look how cute this is. I just wanted to show you that this is how it looks, and it's squeezy. The link is actually on Twitter, so if you want to purchase it, I saw that, however, in other countries such as France, it's like 3 times the price, so be careful with that. But it's very adorable, so it's going to sit back there with all its friends on the shelf. And then I want to share another crazy story. I got at KubeCon, I was at the last day, I was kind of wandering around between the booths before they were closing down, because at the end of a conference, usually while the last talks still finish, they just take down the booths already, because people are not like, it's not worth it to be there, and it just takes time, and then they start taking down the booths already. It's really sad. But before they started taking down the booths, I wandered through the booths and I was looking for stickers. And then there was this one booth, and I just started talking to them like randomly, because they were throwing around a water ball, like one of those blow up balls that you play in water with. And I was like, oh, you still have one of those? And they're like, oh, you're lucky, here's our last one. And then I started talking to them, and they had a giveaway going on, and you kind of had this piece of paper, this scratch card. Wait, let me get the scratch card for a second, but I have to like remove. You get to look at my blog while I'm just going to get the scratch card. Okay, so I'm back. So they had these scratch cards, right? Like a pile of scratch cards. This is how they look like. Can you see that? Okay, here. This is how the scratch cards look like, okay? And I just basically was within a pile, and I just took one of the scratch cards out, right? And then I started scratching. I was like, oh, what does it say? And they were just looking at me in complete disbelief and were like, oh my God, you just won. And I was just like, what do you mean I won? And then they handed me this Lego thing for Batman. And I've never won a Lego set. I haven't played with Lego in like 15 to 20 years. For a long time, I haven't played with Lego. And they gave me this Lego set, and I started putting it together. But I realized I put it wrong together. So one of them, this one is longer now than the other one. So I did something wrong. And it shows me how capable I am with these things. But I'm really excited to have this finished. And I just thought it was such an amazing story that it was so random. Like, it's like sometimes you just get really lucky in life. Anyway, this is the last thing. How do you call the toy? You mean this toy? This is, I just call it, so I looked for cloud light, and then this came up, and it's basically a baby light. Okay, so you, it's for little kids usually, but I thought it was really adorable. So, and somehow lots of people on Twitter think it's really adorable. So I got this. Yeah, that's ultimately what it is. Swag giveaway. Yeah. Oh, this is your time. Oh, amazing. Oh, wow, it's late for you. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. I made you join it. No, I didn't make you, but thank you so much. On the topics of books, can you recommend any which you have read and find useful for people in the Kubernetes space? I haven't read many books in the past, I would say half a year. I have to get back to it. The last book that I read end to end was Helm, the book on Helm. Is Helming something? Is that how it's called? It's not a long book, but it ultimately dives into everything you have to know to use Helm to the fullest of its capabilities. Like, Helm is a really complex tool if you dig into it. So I would really, like, if you're new to Helm, get started with it. That book is amazing. And it's also written by the maintainers, by the core maintainers who started Helm. So I would highly recommend that. My first Helm tutorials on this YouTube channel are actually based on the blog, on that book, right? So I was reading the book and then I was making those YouTube videos based on the book. So, but if you want to have the whole version and everything, like the details of explainers and so on, I would highly suggest you to read the book. Yeah, I don't know if the chat is also delayed for me, but yeah, I think there are more and more people leaving. So I really appreciate everybody who joined. But I think I'm going to end the stream here. The next stream is probably going to be more specific. Also, I have on the Aqua open source channel, let me just open the Aqua open source channel. 1 second. I don't have it open yet. So, your channel. Okay. Ooh, 1 second. Oh God, I'm so clumsy with things sometimes.
That one? No.
Oh no. Oh God. Okay, so now I can show you. So on the Aqua open source channel, there are lots of videos. So if you don't see videos published here, it's probably because I'm busy publishing videos on the Aqua open source channel on our open source tools on how to use them best. So for instance, I released this Lens and K9S video today. It doesn't show you how to install Lens and K9S, but basically how to use it. An overview on how to use it and the differences. So if you are looking for ways to connect with your cluster in a better way, sounds like relationship advice. Anyway, then check it out. Check out this video. Otherwise, I'm going to host on a weekly basis live streams specifically on Trivi, on security scanning with Trivi. So if you have use cases, ways that you're using Trivi, you could also, like, I welcome you to come onto the live stream and show us how you're using Trivi as well. But basically the first video is how you install Trivi, and we're going to do it live, how you install it, and then how you scan container images for vulnerabilities, and how you scan your Docker file for misconfiguration issues and fix them. So that's going to be the first video. Yeah. I think now you're all leaving because I said bye. But ultimately, check out the open source channel. If I don't publish things here, I'm likely publishing things over there. Awesome. Well, this was really lovely. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have an amazing day. And I know it's very late for lots of people, and I'm probably going to host these streams a bit earlier in the day. It was just kind of like, let's host it then, because I know I will be available. But yeah, thank you so much. And again, thank you so much for supporting this content in this channel. Thank you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. I will probably not see you. Oh, here, let's show some. Bye. Oh, this already, I answered that. Okay, here's another one. Take care and congrats. Thank you so much. Bye.